Hi there, Dawn McVey here for this week's Make It Monday. Today we're going to talk about a simple couple of steps you can take to creating really pretty glittered frames for your cards and projects. They're a great place to house the focal point of your card or perhaps even a sentiment. So let's get right to it.
Okay, so to get started, I've got a piece of Stamper Select white cardstock that I have cut and scored to be a standard A2 size card. And we're going to use some score tape today. I will be using score tape, but you could do this same technique with whatever glue you have on hand. This is a card I made a couple weeks ago, and I used 1/8 inch score tape here, and essentially I created a mask with a piece of copy paper to cover the rest of the card, did my stamping, and then when I removed the mask, I was able to easily just lay the score tape right around the ornaments to create the frame and then sprinkled on the glitter. I kept the corners nice and square. For today, I'm going to use a similar approach, but I'm not going to keep those corners square. I'm going to let the edges of the frame overlap. So to start off, I'll lay a piece of score tape across the top of the card. We'll peel the backing off, and then I'm going to turn the card and lay a strip across that side. Again, I'm letting that corners overlap. Peel that backing off. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Score tape is nice because you can just tear it. You don't have to have scissors. And I like it because it's super, super sticky. Again, you could totally use a glue pen and draw your glue on. That would work easily as well. So just use whatever you have on hand. And then one final piece across the bottom. And we'll peel the backing off. Okay, so now we're ready for glitter. I have a piece of just scratch paper here that I will use to catch the glitter. This is Florentine Gold by Martha Stewart. I wanted to go with a really pink and gold color combo for today's project. So we're just going to sprinkle the glitter on quite liberally and shake off the excess. I like to go ahead and turn the card over and press it really well. That mashes that glitter into the adhesive really tightly, and it protects your fingers from getting completely glitter covered. They'll get glittery, but not as bad. And then I've just got a paintbrush that I'll use to scrape off some of that extra. And then I'm going to give this a smack over the trash can. Okay, now that the card is all ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. I'm going to be using the Painted Poinsettia stamp set today. And so I've got this Christmas Cheer stamp set. I wanted to go for a really pink and gold color combo for today's card. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment in Raspberry Fizz ink. I'll just use a wet wipe to wipe the stamp off, stamp it on some scratch paper to get any residue off. And now we're going to move on to stamping our embellishments. I have used the Painted Poinsettia dies to cut out 2 flowers, 2 flower centers, and 3 leaves. For the flowers, I'm going to start by stamping Raspberry Fizz ink right on the Raspberry Fizz cardstock. The next layer, that really pretty detail layer with some shading, that's going to be done with Pure Poppy ink. That's so pretty. Can you see that? And lastly, the vein detailing is going to be stamped in Scarlet Jewel ink. And then I'm going to use some Summer Sunrise ink just to stamp the little flower centers. And I'm going to repeat that whole process for the larger flower. Okay, so for the leaves, I didn't want to use green and have it conflict with my whole pink and gold color combo. So what I've done is I've die cut some craft cardstock, and I'm only going to use 2 of the 3 stamped layers. The big solid image I'm going to skip, and I'm just going to stamp the detail image in craft right on the craft cardstock. And then for the veining image, I'm going to stamp that in dark chocolate, but first I'm going to stamp it off on scratch paper once to lighten it up just a bit so that it's not quite so dramatic. I want it to be a soft, subtle vein. And now we have all of our pieces and components stamped, and all we have left to do is assemble. So I've got some foam adhesive on the back of the flowers. I also used a bit of foam adhesive to secure the centers. And I'm just going to tuck some adhesive just on the base of the leaves. That way the tips won't be stuck down to the card and I can pull them forward a little bit. Just pull those paper backings off. And then we'll just lay everything out kind of like you want it, but don't mash everything down just yet till you make sure everything is positioned just right. Go with that, and we'll tuck some leaves behind. Then we'll just press everything down, pull those leaves forward just a bit, and there you have it, glitter frames.
I hope you're feeling inspired to create a glittered frame of your own. We can't wait to see your project. I hope you will play along this week. If you'd like to, go ahead and head over to Nicole Hetty's blog where you can leave a link to your project so we can all see what you came up with. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. This has been Dawn McVey with Make It Monday.